I think someone was living in my closet and watching me sleep every night. But the scariest part? My curtains were always closed.
I've lived in the same apartment complex for 3 years, and I've always prided myself on being the invisible neighbor. You know the type. I keep my head down, I wear headphones in the elevator, and I never ever make eye contact. But 3 weeks ago, I broke my own rule. And now I don't think I'm ever going to feel safe in my own skin again. My building is an old U-shaped brick mid-rise. My unit faces the courtyard, looking directly into the windows of the opposite wing. There's exactly 40 feet of empty air between my bedroom window and the windows of the B wing. For 2 years, the apartment directly across from mine, 4B, was empty. The blinds were always drawn and no lights ever flickered behind them. It was peaceful. Until the new tenant moved in. It started on a Tuesday. I was up late, probably 2 a.m., scrolling through my phone. I felt that prickle on the back of my neck, the universal "you're being watched" sensation. I looked up at the window of 4B. The blinds were open, just a crack. In the darkness of that apartment, I could see the silhouette of a man. He wasn't doing anything, he was just standing there. I assumed he was just another insomniac like me, maybe looking at the moon or waiting for a pet to settle down. I closed my curtains and went to sleep. The next night, he was there again, same spot. By the third night, I got curious. I turned off all the lights in my room so he couldn't see me, and I peeked through my blinds. This time, he wasn't just standing there, he was pressed right against the glass. His face was pale, almost unnaturally white, and he was staring directly at my window. Not the building, not the courtyard, me. I felt a chill go down my spine. I tried to tell myself I was being paranoid. Maybe he was just weird. But then, he did something that made my blood run cold. He slowly raised a hand and pointed. A single long finger aimed straight at my chest. I stopped opening my curtains entirely after that. I lived in a cave for a week, but I started hearing things. The courtyard in my building has an echo. Every night around 3:15 a.m. I'd hear a faint tap, tap, tap. It sounded like someone was throwing small pebbles at my window. I ignored it. Then the tapping changed. It became a rhythmic scratching, like a dog trying to get through a door. I finally snapped. I grabbed a flashlight, threw open my curtains, and beamed the light directly at apartment 4B. The apartment was empty. No furniture, no man. The "for rent" sign was back in the window. I felt a wave of relief so strong I almost laughed. He was gone. He was probably just a squatter or a creep who got evicted. I went to the kitchen to get a glass of water, feeling like a weight had been lifted. That's when I noticed my front door. I have one of those mail slots in the middle of the door. Underneath it, lying on the floor, was a single Polaroid photo. I picked it up. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped it. The photo was taken from inside my own bedroom. It showed me, fast asleep in my bed, taken from the foot of the mattress. On the back, written in shaky black ink, were 4 words: "Your curtains were closed." I called the police immediately. They searched the building but found nothing. They checked 4B, it was locked, dusty, and clearly hadn't been lived in for months. The landlord swore no one had been issued a key. That night, the police stayed in their cruiser in the courtyard. I felt safe enough to try and sleep. I woke up at 3:15 a.m., not to a tap, but to a sound coming from inside my closet. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat felt like it was filled with sand. I stared at the closet door. It slowly, agonizingly creaked open an inch. Through the crack I saw a pale white forehead. And then, those eyes. They weren't human. I lunged for my phone and ran out the front door, screaming for the cops. By the time they burst into my apartment, the closet was empty. But on the inside of the closet door, they found hundreds of tiny, deep gouges in the wood. Like someone had been living in there for weeks, clawing at the walls. I moved out the next day. I left half my furniture behind, I didn't care. I'm staying in a motel now, 3 towns over. I thought it was over.
But this morning, I went to use the bathroom. When I looked in the mirror, I saw something in the corner of the glass. There, tucked into the frame of the mirror, was a small piece of paper. It was a new tenant application for my new apartment complex. It was already filled out. The name on the top? The man from 4B. And the move-in date? Today. If you're reading this and you feel like someone is watching you, don't look at the window. Just keep your eyes on your screen. Because once you make eye contact, he knows you can see him. And he doesn't like to be ignored.